In this video, we're going to talk about adding fractions with unlike denominators, and we're going to start with some fraction circle pieces to show how not to do it. If you look up here at our picture, we've got this piece representing 1/2, and we've got this piece representing 1/3, and then over here we have these pieces representing 1/5 and 1/5. And a common mistake that students will often make is when they're adding fractions is to just add the numerators together. So 1 plus 1 is 2, and then to add the denominators together. 2 plus 3 is 5. And that will not get you to the correct answer, as proven by the picture up here. If you put 1/2 together with 1/3, it does not equal 1/5. It's much bigger than 1/5. The reason you can't add the denominators together is the denominators tell us how many pieces there are to make up a whole thing. So in order to add fractions together, the denominators have to be the same. We have to have a common denominator. If we look at our next pictures down here, we'll still have the 1/2 and the 1/3, but this time we're making these blue pieces worth 1/6 each. In class, we're using our fraction circle pieces to help us add our fractions together. And if I bring this piece over, you can see that that matches up perfectly. So in this case, with our fraction circle pieces, we just have shown that 1/2 plus 1/3 equals 5/6. Now, we don't have fraction circle pieces with us all the time, so the next thing I'm going to show you is how to make equivalent fractions to add up your fractions using an algorithm or a strategy for paper pencil. For our traditional algorithm, we're going to start by writing the fraction vertically, 1/2 plus 1/3. Then the next step is we're going to find the multiples of the denominators, so 2 and 3. So finding multiples is like counting by the number. So the multiples of 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And we're going to do the same thing with 3. But as we're doing that, we're going to pay attention to see if any of our multiples of 3 show up with the multiples of 2. So our multiples of 3 would be 3, 6, and we can stop there because 6 is a multiple of 2 and 6 is a multiple of 3. And that's called the least common multiple of the two numbers. And we're going to use that least common multiple to help us find a common denominator. So we're going to come back over here, and we're going to make some equivalent fractions using 6 as our denominator. Another thing we've talked about in class a lot is how when we're making equivalent fractions, the size of the amount doesn't change. The only thing that changes is the size of the pieces that we're using to add together. So in math, when you're getting the same answer, you're either multiplying by 1 or dividing by 1. So we're always multiplying or dividing by 1 for equivalent fractions, but we're using it in the form of a fraction. So for example, here we have 2 or 1/2, and we need to find out how many sixths that is. Well, 2 times 3 is 6. Whatever we do to the bottom number, we also have to do to the top. So 1 times 3 is 3. So we just took 1/2 times 3 over 3, which equals 3/6. And this 3 over 3/3 is 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So that's where we're saying we always multiply by 1, but in the form of a fraction. So the numbers of our fraction are going to change, even though we're always multiplying by 1. Then we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. 1/3 times 2/2 equals 2/6. 1 times 2 is 2, 3 times 2 is 6. So with our common denominators, we can now add up fractions to get the answer of 5/6. If you have any questions, make sure you let your teacher know, and have a good evening.